Avoid criticizing and blaming. Criticism refers to clarifying or pointing out, right or wrong about the other person's position, opinion, or logic. However, if the other person is not ready to accept this kind of criticism, the other person reacts in some form. Further, human relationships may be difficult due to the conflict, anger, and hatred caused by the side effects of this criticism. Hasty criticism can be like pouring oil on dry wood and lighting it. Also, when criticizing, there are many cases where the person's circumstances were not properly grasped. I criticize unilaterally from my point of view, without considering the situation in which that person had no choice but to do so. But if I had been in the same circumstances as him, would I have behaved better than he? No one will be able to say with certainty. It is natural that our thoughts, words and actions are different because we have lived in different environments. It is unreasonable to expect others to think the same way as me. When an average person with an IQ of 100 analyzes and evaluates other people, what is their IQ? It is said that at this time, the brain improves tremendously, and the IQ reaches 100 million. However, when that person analyzes and evaluates himself, there is a story that the IQ is less than 10. It is a very exaggerated metaphor. This story tells us that he can judge others more objectively than he does himself. This is because it is difficult for him to properly judge himself, because his emotions are involved and he becomes subjective. If so, you should see that the other person knows you more objectively than you do. What the other person sees me is often more accurate than what I see myself. Of course, there are many cases where I know the other person more objectively than the other person. This does not mean that you can criticize your opponent freely. Most of my opponents don't accept it as it is, even if I empty my mind and give objective criticism. This is because there is often a large gap between my objective thoughts about the other person and the other person's subjective thoughts about themselves. Still, the opponent will know well if I criticize with understanding and love. Therefore, if you criticize with the slightest wrong intention, you may fall into a situation that is difficult to rectify. Let's look at this again from the "all is one with me" position. Then, criticizing the other person is the same as criticizing yourself. Another alter ego of mine is playing its role well, so there is no need to criticize it from my subjective point of view. Of course, criticizing is also my role. However, it is not necessary to put each other in an awkward position by causing serious problems by criticizing. Therefore, if you are not sure that you are helping each other, it is better to avoid it even if it is an objective criticism. Likewise, you should take a good look at the time and place of criticism and do it when the other person can accept it. And if you really need to criticize, you should do it from the heart that thinks of the other person as you do. However, in most cases, even if you think and criticize the other person as you do, the other person cannot accept it as it is. Rather, let's put off such criticism for a while and wait for the right time. Let's live this moment with a heart that acknowledges and embraces the other person as they are. Even ordinary criticism like this can sometimes be very dangerous. Moreover, criticism without understanding and love can turn into blame if done wrong. Such accusations are tantamount to self-destruction. If you start blaming the other person, you will be faced with a situation where it is difficult to continue the conversation. This is no different than a declaration of war. If this happens, it may be difficult to continue the relationship any longer, unless there is a special occasion. I don't know if it's for psychological warfare in the middle of a war, but it's better not to do it in normal human relations. After all, blaming someone is like throwing a stone over your head. If I hate someone, gossip or criticize someone, the reason why my heart hurts and my body hurts is because he is another side of me. Thank you very much for watching this video.